It's Indiana in the morning, WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com on a Friday morning. Hey, sun is shining. It's a beautiful day today, even more earlier in the day than they had been predicting. They'd said we'd start out cloudy and then turn sunny, but we went right into sunshine mode, which is what we say every time Bob Pollock walks through the door. Here we are in sunshine mode. Bob Pollock from the Extension with us this morning, presented by Marcus & Mack, voted best law firm and best personal injury lawyer 3 years in a row. And the Best of Indiana County contest, visit them online at marcusandmack.com. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you with us here today. Tomato blight, latest, or anything we need to be concerned about?
Yeah, there's some of it around, maybe not locally, but Ohio, New York, eastern Pennsylvania. So keep your eyes and ears open. Well, at least your eyes.
Yeah. Your ears aren't going to really hear the blight?
No.
Okay.
But you can hear the wind blowing, and that is how it moves around on the wind currents and storm fronts. And we had a storm front come through yesterday to parts of the county, at least.
Yeah.
It was windy here.
My part of the county.
You got wet. We didn't. We could have used a drink. I don't know if we're going to move into one of those cycles where we can't get any rain even when it's supposed to or not.
Well, that's one of the questions that I wanted to bring up to you today, because it seems this year, probably more than in other years, the weather has actually flipped a calendar page and is following. Here it is a new month, and we've got a whole new different cycle of weather, and it's kind of strange the way that has happened so far this year. Let's take a caller this morning, find out what's going on with them. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. We started a rhubarb plant, I guess a tuber, whatever you call it, but the leaves came up real nice. They have a lot of holes in them now. They turn yellow and then they turn brown. They die, the leaves die. Is that going to kill the plant, or we can't see any bugs, but it's doing something?
A little rhubarb question for you this morning. In the catbird seat.
Yeah, so on a new plant like that, when new plants get stressed, it is possible that it's not a good thing.
Right.
The survival, once that plant gets established, it's pretty resilient plant, rhubarb, pretty tough. But on a new planting, these things can be more stressful, especially, you want to make sure that there's still leaves there. And then hopefully there's some new ones coming up from the base of that crown to come up and replace those ones that are turning yellow. There's a few leaf spot diseases that are possibilities, and that might be why you're not seeing any insects feeding on them. Because you could have flea beetles, which are a little kind of brown or black beetle that might be on there that could be feeding, causing the holes. They fly, they can jump, they move out of the way fairly quickly. You could, if you're not watching really close, you could come up to the plant and they could disappear, either drop to the ground or dart away.
They're wily
that
characters.
You wouldn't see them. So they will make holes in the leaves. Typically, though, if they make a hole in the leaf, that leaf will not just turn yellow and then turn brown.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering if it's more likely that there's a little bit of leaf spot disease on there that's causing spots. Those spots are turning brown, drying up, and then that tissue drops out and you have a hole there, and it makes it appear that there was an insect feeding on there.
Right.
When it's really a disease.
So what do we do?
What do they do?
Well, is there still foliage on there?
Yes.
That's good. We want to keep it that way. The other thing is the plant can be trying to adjust to its environment. And so as it's trying to get its root system established, it may not be able. We've had very hot weather. And it may not be, it's stressed to the point where we're losing a few leaves because it's also trying to get that root system established. So that could also be happening at the same time. So just make sure that it is getting watered. You don't have to overwater it, but just make sure that that ground's not drying out, that the roots have water. And then there are not very many fungicides to apply to help prevent that.
Oh boy. Okay.
Leaf spot disease. But that's the other option, is to apply a fungicide.
So what we
to help
use on
prevent that.
what we're using on tomato plants, that would not work. And
it's one. Yes, depending on the material, it could also be labeled for rhubarb. It's just there's not a lot of things labeled on rhubarb.
Yeah,
but
copper-based.
You could use
fungicide.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
That would also be a possibility.
Now, she already say it is that.
Yeah.
She already has the disease on that one. She doesn't have to remove those leaves and then
No,
spray.
I would not preemptively remove those, because it's a new plant. It's trying to get established. As long as those leaves are alive, we want to leave them there so that they can photosynthesize and help make food for the plant, keep it going.
There you go.
But what we're
thank
trying
you.
to do is treat the new leaves that are coming up and keep them healthy.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right,
And
so
that-
there you go. Little
yeah,
rhubarb news.
Yeah, and that's not an extremely common plant, but not everybody likes rhubarb. But yet it's been around historically a long time.
Yeah.
And it can be, you can make rhubarb pie, etc.
You bet you can.
Strawberry rhubarb pie.
We like that. Rhubarb bread too.
Once and that's a perennial plant. Can last decades. Once it gets established.
Yeah. Yeah, ours went away after these last few years. It just decided we're done and moved away. And they didn't leave a forwarding address either. 752.
On wet years, on soils with more clay content, heavier soils, we just kind of call them that. But soils with more clay content that hold moisture longer, and if you have that situation, and you have your rhubarb, in this case, planted there, on those wet years, like this year, that you can start to lose some roots, and a plant can decline from that was otherwise doing pretty well.
All right, so the change in the weather, I
Yes.
wanted to get back to that. We began this month of August today, much cooler than we were through the month of July. July was a hot month. Traditionally, August is the hottest of the 3 months that we consider to be summer, June, July, and August. And it hasn't started that way, but you're thinking that probably it's going to end up that way. Yes,
Flip a coin.
pretty much. And
It's,
then moisture is a big part of
we
this
get-
whole equation.
Oh yeah, we get a front that comes through, and big change, less humidity, lower temperatures, feels pretty good. But it looks like for the coming week we're going to be back into the 80s. Very low chance of precipitation. So we go from all this wet weather now to dry weather. So the ground can turn hard in a hurry. So on new plant, if maybe you've just done some new plantings in the garden, just make sure that those plants, you keep them watered. If you planted seeds, we were talking last week about some of those crops to plant, especially the cool season crops to plant for a fall crop. And even, you can even make another planting of zucchini, for example. Even though it's more of a warm season crop, it'll tolerate some cooler temperatures, and it's a shorter day time frame to get it to maturity. So that could be something that could be seeded now for a fall crop, and then even if you want to protect it to help it go longer as we approach fall in October. And,
Protected by covering it when
freeze.
it's frosty
Yes.
cold outside.
Yeah. So even those, but you can direct seed a lot of that stuff. And as we've talked about before, plants typically aren't available for doing fall plantings now. So you're you either have to start those plants yourself or direct seed them right in the garden.
Yeah.
And really, you can end up with a better planting doing a direct seeding, versus growing transplants and then transplanting them.
Yeah.
Just because the growing conditions are better. The soil is warmed up now. A big reason in the spring to start those plants is you can get a jump on it because the soil conditions may be too wet and too cold in the spring, so you get those plants started, and by the time you do that and they're ready, things have usually warmed up enough to the point where you can get them planted. This time of year, the soil's already warm enough, so those seeds will germinate quickly, and that's good. We want to get them up and growing. And now, if we're going to get into a dry spell, then just have to be prepared to water those, because as they come up, they've got a tiny root system, and they can get burned up, in a day. Just like a plant that you're growing in a container. That can happen pretty quickly on these hot days. Things will wilt down, and then that stresses those plants, and we want to get them germinated, get them growing, and keep them going.
I did talk to the guy from the Old Farmer's Almanac, the editor, earlier this week about the new guide, the garden toolbox, they call it, that gives you all kinds of hints about harvesting and knowing when a plant is ripe to pull off and eat. And then I got into a conversation with someone this week about tomatoes, and when one gets knocked off the plant before it started to change color, and when they change color, you can basically take that tomato off and set it on the picnic table there, and it'll eventually red up, and ripen up. But if it's green, it's going to stay green.
Well, even green,
Green can come around?
Yeah. And of course, you can pick green tomatoes
and have them fried.
And eat, and have fried green tomatoes. But they will, if they're really green, they may start to decline before they actually turn color. But they'll still turn color. And if they're starting to break, meaning if they're just starting to get some color, a little bit of red, there might be a little pinkish tinge to them. Of course, then there's, yellow tomatoes and pink tomatoes and red tomatoes.
Sure.
All of that. So whatever that color is going to be, orange, as those start to go, you can harvest them. And which gives me another thought about sometimes you can be forced to harvest them a little early. Say we had dry weather and it's warm, and then we get a rain. That can cause cracking on the fruit. That temperature change, because the temperature of the fruit is really warm, and you have the cold rain come down, and that can cause cracking. Or we get that moisture, extra moisture, and the plant absorbs that, and it has a little growth spurt, and it causes the tomato, in this case, to crack. So there are reasons that you might want to try to harvest early. And the same thing in the fall, if we're expecting a freeze and you still have some really nice fruit on there, you can harvest those early so that you don't lose them.
So no advantage, though, in taking off a plant early and leaving it or leaving it on.
You're going to get the best quality product usually and flavor by leaving whatever that vegetable is on the plant until it's mature.
Let nature do its thing?
Yes. Yeah, you'll get the most nutrients, the best flavor. Vine ripened, as they say, is going to be best. When you harvest early, then, the sugar content won't be there. And it'll be a crop. It's still edible, but it won't have the best and highest quality as that same one left on the plant until it is really ready to harvest.
Well, it works that way with human beings, too. Just let nature run its course.
Run its course.
All right, Bob, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's Indiana in the Morning. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com.